Good morning, and happy, happy, happy summer. When I tell you, I have dedicated my summer life to just living my best life and not doing much schoolwork. I have truly committed to that. But there comes a time where you gotta buckle up and you gotta buckle down and do your schoolwork because classes are starting again soon. But anyway, I wanted to pop in and I wanted to say hello because I haven't done a video since my particular update video, or at least posted a video. So I have footage, I have edited videos, I have some videos in queue, but then I kind of just decided I wasn't going to post them during the summertime and that they might be more useful as school starts. And so I've decided to leave it until then. So if you're wondering like where the videos go, girl, they're there, they're in the background, and I have them in queue to start uploading right around the time that school starts. But anyway, thing number one, welcome to all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for choosing to come and follow this very interesting school journey with me. For those of you that are new and this is your very first video, I am currently a cardiovascular sonography student. I'm entering into my second year, and it has been a time. It has absolutely been a time. But one of the things that I wanted to pop on and do, since school is starting soon, and I think it's important for you to keep up your skills during the summertime so you don't lose it all. I wanted to give you some tips for studying and kind of let you know what I've been doing. So stick around for probably about 6 good tips on studying and keeping up to breast with all of your sonography stuff. One thing I wanted to mention before I get started, a video that I am going to be posting at some point in the future, I don't know where it's gonna fall into the queue, is that this summer, which was so very exciting, I went to the American Society of Echocardiography's conference. So they have a huge conference every year in different places. And this year it was a little bit closer to me in Maryland. And so I had the opportunity to go to Maryland to this conference. And when I tell you, I am so happy that I took the time to go. It was amazing kind of being just in interaction and socially having fun and learning with other people that do the same exact thing. These are people that have been in the industry working in this particular field for years and years and years and years and years and years. And if you're wondering what the American Society of Echocardiography is, that is actually the society that makes all of the ASC guidelines, which is the guidelines that we follow for the basics of echo. But anyway, let's get into it. So tip number one, tip number one is have a focus. Have a focus and an idea on what it is that you want to study during the summertime. Because it's not really useful to try to study everything under the sun, because the summer is supposed to be a break and you want to make sure that you're taking a break. So you want to have the balance of taking a break, but then also studying. So my particular focus this year is ultrasound physics. I focused heavily on ultrasound physics, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, because it is my goal to take my ultrasound physics registry at the end of the year, if not by the end of the year, before next semester. So end of December, beginning of January, that is the goal. And it's because I enter into my very last class of physics this year, and it's like advanced ultrasound physics and instrumentation. My very last class. I finish this next semester, and I don't want to lose all the information, and I want to be the most like up to breast with it and have the most things memorized and have the most knowledge in order to take the test at the end of the year. And so I knew if I wanted to take the test at the end of the year that I really needed to focus during the summertime on that. So for those of you who aren't cardiovascular like sonography students, but you are, for example, diagnostic medical sonography students, it's good for you to know that you do have to take the SPI. And the SPI is the exam in association with ultrasound physics. We all have to take it, no matter what our specialty is. So if you are DMS, if you are vascular, if you are cardiovascular, if you are MPs, you have to take the ultrasound physics SPI exam, and I'll just link what it says somewhere in here, like what it stands for. So we all have to take that test. It's a registry that we all have to pass. And so what I did was I decided 2 things. One, I have this handy dandy book. This is the ultrasound physics book that I used to study in school. This is the book that we read. We have gone through pretty much half of the book by this time, and we're going to go over the other half in the next semester. So studying with this book, but not only am I studying with this book, I'm also studying with the ESP ultrasound workbook. And so this says 2021 on it. We are in 2023. The good thing about it is that nothing really changes in terms of ultrasound physics, like in terms of the basics of it. This is one of those things that's not changing very much. So the things that you need to know are still the same for the exam. This is one of those books that you can only get by going to a conference, and I'll leave the link below. The conference is very expensive. It's something like $300, something like that. But my particular professor has gone at different times, and the school has saved various versions of this book. And so they allow us to use it during the summertime if we like. So when she offered that opportunity, I jumped on that opportunity and was like, yes, please. I will take the book. I will study the book. I will do that. And so these are the two things that I have been using to study. My Understanding Ultrasound Physics, which is by Sydney Edelman, and in association with the actual workbook. And I'll tell you kind of how I broke down studying for that. Tip number 2, create a schedule. And create a reasonable schedule in the summertime, because everybody wants to have fun. Everybody wants to go on vacation. Everybody wants to do all the things, which I did. You know, this year I had my niece and my sister come over, and they spent a week here at my place, which I loved and enjoyed. I went to Alaska for vacation, and I was in Seattle, the Seattle and also Alaska area for about 10 days. And then I'm going to Indianapolis just before school starts. So you want to create a schedule, and you decide whether you want to study daily or you want to study every other day and what that time frame was. Now for me, I take a break from studying, and I think that it is very important for you to take a break. Like I mentioned, my school ended in the beginning of May, because I just live in an area where it ends in May, and I start about mid-August. And so I took a whole 2-month break. When I finished school, I was so shocked. I was so shocked and so done, and had like so much mental fatigue, because it's not easy. And I'll leave a video, one update video and one video about, is it really hard? It's not easy, and it takes a lot of mental capacity to go through the classes and things. I was ready to take a break, and I said, you know what? I'm taking a 2-month break. From May to July, I'm not studying nothing. Anything related to any type of ultrasound. Not studying it. Not echo, not my ultrasound books, not picking them up. They're going to sit on this little dresser over here, and they're going to collect dust. And that's exactly what they did. And then I decided that on July 1st that I was going to get back into the swing of studying, because that gave me a good 6-7 weeks before school started. At that time, I made a schedule, and my goal is pretty much to study daily, because I know how many chapters are in the book and how many chapters we studied. The goal is to, 1, not take forever in a Sunday, because you don't want to do that, but get the book, study a chapter, take notes on that chapter, even though, like, for example, chapter 1, I've gone over more than one time, because we did it in first semester and we also did it in second semester. But I go over it, I read it, I take very specific notes about it, and then the next day I do the questions at the back of that section, and I read the associating chapter in this particular book, and kind of compare the questions, so I have an idea on what I might need for that particular knowledge thing. So you want to make sure that you've created some form of schedule. Don't just do it all willy-nilly, because if you don't, then you're not going to do it. I'm telling you right now. If you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to start studying in July, and then maybe like once a week I'm going to pick up my book and I'm going to read it, it's not going to happen. So just write it down, say this date, this date, this day. I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to spend this much time on it. Total tip. So tip number 3, as I was just recently mentioning, do the study questions. Do the study questions. If you have a book, do the study questions. In the back of each of these chapters, there are some study questions alongside the answers. In this book, there are study questions with answers. And also, I will even give you a very nice resource down below for study questions. There is a YouTube channel who has like a study questions in a video. So they'll do like maybe 4 or 5 questions. and for specific things. So like they'll have cardiovascular sonography questions, they have DMS sonography questions, they'll have vascular sonography questions. You don't have to worry about like sifting through those particular things. So like one video has all of it in there, it doesn't. You'll see a video and it'll say vascular questions. You'll see a video and it'll say like OBGYN questions. You'll see a video and it'll say cardiovascular questions. And so I'll leave them below because I thought it was a really good like study tool, especially since reading over and over and over and over and over and over and over again becomes kind of tedious. So that's my suggestion. Definitely do study questions, whatever study questions are in the books that you have chosen. Since I chose physics, those are the study questions that I'm working on the most. But if your book has some sort of questions, do the questions because it'll help you with your registries. And the thing is, we don't want to go through all of this schooling, spend all this time, bust our butts to fill our registries at the end of it because we can't work. We can't work. That's the way it works. So we won't be able to work. So make sure that you are definitely doing that. And if you're interested in a way to have like various study questions that can come to you, and also just me putting together my various notes and things, be sure to leave your email address below. I'm going to leave like a little link and you can press it and you can leave your email address below and I will start sending you my little newsletter. So I've created a newsletter. Yay! To keep in touch with all of you who are like prospective sonography students and those of you who are current sonography students that are interested with a little bit of studying, maybe getting a question or two a day or weekly, like that type of thing, leave it below and I will definitely send you the newsletter. Tip number 4. So since you are already on here and you are already on this platform and you happen to already be here watching my video, tip number 4 is watch YouTube videos. Watch YouTube videos and watch videos on the websites that are suggested for your particular field. So there are particular, and I'll leave them down below for cardio, at least some of the ones that I look at, particular websites that cater to that particular sonography skill. But YouTube is like a treasure trove of knowledge. You just have to make sure you know where to get that knowledge from and where to find those videos. And so I'll leave a few more links. Let me tell you, this description box is going to be full of links, but I'll leave links in the description boxes of a few places that I look for in terms of studying for my particular cardiovascular sonography stuff, as well as some ultrasound physics. Watch videos, because as I said previously, sometimes the reading all the time and reading back to back is very, very, very tedious and it becomes boring, like just boring. And it's nice to have some form of animation. It's nice to have someone that's talking to you. It's nice to have someone that's interpreting the information for you. And so I will leave those below, but definitely watch videos. Watch videos. Watch videos because they help. And it's funny because I was talking to someone yesterday and they're not in the same field. They're studying like, I think she said cybersecurity, and she was just saying how she spent all this time, hours and hours, trying to understand this chapter in her book, and then she decided to go to YouTube and just click in and like search for what she was looking for. She's like, this 10-minute video explained it to me way easier than my book did. So just be sure to take a look and watch some YouTube videos. And thank you for watching mine. I'm on tip number 5, which might actually be tip number 6 because I kind of meshed them all up in there together. But tip number 5 is to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. I'm a big believer in investing in yourself. So if you have a little bit of coins, use those little bit of coins to invest in yourself because it's only going to make you better, right? So I had this opportunity, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video, to go to the ASC conference. I am very happy that I chose to go to the ASC conference, but it wasn't like a place where I could just hop, skip, and jump over there and walk down the street. So I had to get up very early in the morning to leave. I bought a train ticket to go there and a train ticket to come back and all sorts of things. I bought some books while I was there as well. Invest in yourself. So even though I said like, okay, this conference for this thing is like $300, maybe the $300 isn't something that you can afford right now. I haven't even gone to this particular like ESP ultrasound thing. But if it's something that you think will better yourself and help you save the money to invest in yourself, the ASC conference, which is quite the pricey conference, when I post a video, it'll be a nice like long vlog and it'll tell you everything that I felt like I learned from it and give you the experience through my eyes as a student. It was offered to students this year for the first time ever free. The dean of my school sent it to everybody. Well, sent it to my professor who then sent it to my class. And I was like, okay, free? I can do free. Maryland, getting to Maryland is not free because I live in Virginia, but I could go there and take the time. It was a full like weekend conference, but the Saturday was the free day for students. I went, and when I tell you I was so happy, I was so happy to be sitting in with people that have done this for so long. Because you think, okay, you go into sonography, and where do you go from there, right? Like, where do you go from there when you're doing sonography? Cardiovascular sonography, vascular sonography, so on and so forth. Do you become a supervisor? What is it that you choose? And so I learned so much about advanced cardio vascular sonography in that particular certification. I learned a lot about moving up the ladder in this particular place. I learned a lot from the various like cardiologists that went there. And the funny thing is that I work at a hospital, and I was able to connect with the cardiovascular sonography director for my particular hospital that I work at, that I had never met before. And so it was nice connecting with him, being able to talk to him, being able to like see what I can do in terms of my clinicals and being stationed like at my job, just so I have an idea on how they do it. It was a great networking opportunity. It was good to see various ultrasound machines. My school only used one particular brand of ultrasound machine, but at this conference, all the major companies came, and I was able to look at and see and use these ultrasound machines. And so anyway, it was totally amazing. The point is, one of the things that you want to do is you want to invest in yourself. So even if you don't have the opportunity to go to a conference this year as a student, definitely look into them and just start saving the money so that you can have that opportunity and do it. And if there's something that's free, do the free thing. Even if it costs you a little bit of money in transportation, even if it's going to cost you a little bit of money, you know, where you have to spend to feed yourself during the day and so on and so forth, I want to say that you definitely should do it. So anyway, didn't want to make this video too long, but I have a feeling that it is actually quite long. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't for further sonography related videos. I will definitely start posting and having the videos on a schedule coming up at the beginning of this fall semester, which for me is just about the middle of August. And so I'm very happy to share that with you. If you are interested in getting my newsletter, then leave your email address down below. I'll just have a link where you can send me your email address. Do not put your email address in the comments. Let's just do that. And also the thing that you should know is that I'm not selling your information or any of that foolishness. It is literally for me to connect with you from one sonography student to another, so you can see what I'm up to, what I'm doing, give you my tips, help you with some questions, things like that. Anyway, I hope that you are having an amazing summer and that the summer has given you the rejuvenation to feel pumped to get back to it in the fall.